Hi everyone. Today I'm going to share the honest truth about our first year raising quail, no sugarcoating. We learned everything through trial and error. There were dead chicks, cats hunting our birds, stressed out quail, and plenty of mistakes. But there were also valuable lessons, and I want to share them with you, so you can avoid the same problems we faced. If you're thinking about raising quail, watch until the end. It could save you a lot of time, frustration, and let's be honest, a lot of money. Last summer, my husband and I decided to give quail raising a try. We'd never incubated eggs before and had never kept quail. We simply bought a batch of eggs and started the incubator, hoping for the best. Out of 100 eggs, about 50 chicks hatched. For our very first attempt with no experience at all. That wasn't a bad result. But at the time, we had no idea whether it was good or bad. The bigger problem was that we didn't have a proper cage yet. Since it was summer, the chicks spent their first days in a simple cardboard box. Every evening we brought the box inside because we were afraid they'd get cold outside, or that something might hurt them. And something did our own cat. Every now and then, he helped reduce our flock by quietly hunting the chicks. It was heartbreaking, but it's part of the story. If you have cats and your quail chicks are temporarily living in an open box, make sure they have absolutely no access to them, even inside your house. After a while, my husband built a proper cage, and we were so excited. We thought, this is it, soon we'll finally have fresh homegrown quail eggs. The quail were already about 2 months old, but there were still no eggs. We couldn't figure out why. Since we were raising Texas quail, a breed often considered to be mainly for meat, we assumed that was the reason. We thought, they're bred for meat, not eggs, so maybe they just don't lay very well. But let me clear up that myth right away. The breed wasn't the problem at all. Texas quail are a hybrid developed from egg-laying lines, and under the right conditions, they're actually excellent layers. The real reason we weren't getting any eggs was something completely different, and it took us a long time to figure it out. We kept our male and female quails together, without separating them, never realizing that this could be a serious problem. But later we discovered this was the main reason. Quails are very sensitive to having too many males in one cage. On farms, there is a simple rule. One male should be kept with 2 to 4 females. When there are too many males, they start competing, fighting, and constantly chasing the females. The birds live under continuous stress, and stress affects egg production first. A stressed female's body can literally decide that it is not the right time for reproduction. And as a result, she may stop laying eggs or lay only occasionally. In our case, the balance was completely wrong. We had too many males and our quails were living in constant stress. We didn't know this at the time, so we blamed the breed instead. We talked it over and decided to process 10 quails for meat, just to try the taste and to reduce the number of birds in the cage a little. And that's when something interesting happened. After we removed part of the flock, the quails gradually started laying eggs. At that time, we still didn't fully understand why it worked. We only noticed the connection, but the reason was clear. We had accidentally reduced the overcrowding and stress in the cage by removing some of the competing males. The birds became calmer, and their bodies allowed them to start laying eggs again. By New Year, the situation had shifted completely in the opposite direction. There were only a few quails left. Egg production was still low, and there were still too many males among the remaining birds. We made a decision. We removed all the males completely and kept only the females. In November, we bought 200 quail eggs for incubation. Almost all of them hatched. We were absolutely thrilled. The result was amazing. At first, the chicks lived inside the house, in an old incubator that we had converted into a warm little home. It was cozy and safe there, but the quail chicks grew very quickly. The space inside the incubator became too small, and we decided to move them into a larger box in the barn. And that's when the most painful part of the story happened. Literally one day later, out of 200 quail chicks, only about 30 were still alive. The rest had died. The reason was the temperature. We didn't know this at the time, but the facts are simple. Newborn quail chicks need a temperature of around a -36 degrees Celsius, D-97 degrees Fahrenheit. And during the first days of life, it should never drop below 30 degrees Celsius, 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Only by the 3rd to 5th week of life should the temperature be gradually reduced, reaching the comfortable range for adult birds, around P-23 degrees Celsius, a -73 degrees Fahrenheit. A barn in November is nowhere near 30 degrees, and young quail chicks cannot regulate their body temperature during the first days of life. They lose heat very quickly and can die from hypothermia. This was the most painful mistake we made that year. Not because it was impossible to predict, but because we simply didn't learn enough about quail care beforehand. In June this year, we bought another 100 quail eggs for incubation. 80 chicks hatched, which was also a very good result. This time, we had no problems with temperature. It was summer, warm outside, and we already knew what to pay attention to. But once again, our cats became the problem. We didn't watch the chicks closely enough, and the cats managed to catch and eat some of them. However, the flock size remained quite healthy in the end. This time, we were much more responsible. We carefully monitor the temperature and provide specialized quail feed. By the way, feed is also something worth talking about. During the first weeks of life, quail chicks need feed with a high protein content, around 24 to 26%, which is essential for proper growth. For adult-laying females, the protein requirement is slightly lower, about 20 to 24%. They also need a good source of calcium, for example, crushed eggshells, to help produce strong eggshells for future eggs. There was one more lesson we learned, but only through experience: the importance of keeping the cage floor clean and dry. If quail chicks live on wet, dirty bedding, feed and droppings stick to their feet. As it dries, it forms hard clumps that are very difficult to remove. This can deform their toes and cause the birds to limp. The best solution is a wire mesh floor. Droppings and dirt fall through the mesh, while the quails stay on a clean, dry surface. Their feet remain clean, and the risk of foot problems is greatly reduced. For adult quail, switching to a wire mesh floor solved this problem completely. We made the change ourselves and noticed the difference almost immediately. Our quail chicks are now 18 days old. They're growing fast, looking strong and healthy, and I'm really happy that this time everything is going just as it should. If I had to sum up everything we learned from this year of mistakes, here's what I want you to remember. First, separate males and females at the right time and keep the correct ratio: 1 male for every 3 to 4 females. Otherwise, you may wait a long time without getting many eggs. Second, temperature during the first days of a chick's life is critical. Without steady warmth, even an excellent hatch can be lost in just 1 day. But overheating is also dangerous. Temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, can seriously harm the chicks. Third, if you have cats or other predators, they should know in the first few weeks a high-protein diet is essential for healthy growth. We learn all of these lessons the hard way through mistakes, losses, and disappointment. But now, Looking at these growing quail chicks, I know it was all worth it. I hope. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and join us again in 2 weeks for another story from our little farm. See you next time.